Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, I'm Rajarsi Dasa. Welcome to Hare Krishna today. On today's program, we have again with us His Grace Madanmohan Das. Madanmohan Prabhu, welcome to the program.
Hare Krishna, thank you for having me back.
So, we're going to get to the point now about what is this ultimate truth. Because many people in the world, they say nobody can see God, or no one can actually know God. Or some people say if you see God, you'll die. So perhaps Madanmohan Prabhu, in the Western world, people don't really have a concept about, they may say God is the Father, but who is the Father? They don't know. So from your encounter with the Vedic scriptures, could you speak a bit about concepts of God?
When you talk about concepts, it has to do also with processes. So there's the Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. I'm going to speak about Bhakti Yoga because Krishna explains in his Bhagavad Gita that Bhaktyamam Abhijananti, that Krishna is only known by Bhakti, and that's roughly translated as devotional love, pure love. And for myself, it's you love a person. So Krishna is a person, and the reason that he appears impersonal is because we're not accepting our relationship with him. So if one doesn't want to have a relationship with God, since God is everything and controlling everything, he goes into a non-personal relationship with you, which is called impersonalism. To give an analogy for that that's helped me a lot is that we were once with Krishna and we desired to leave him. So for myself, I think of a divorce hearing where I'm the woman and Krishna is the male, and I say, I want you out of my life. I don't want to hear your name. I don't want to know you exist. And Krishna says, I still love you. I still want to take care of you. I'll still do everything for you. And I say, shh, don't say another thing. But if you do want to do all those things, I will like the house, the dog, the truck, but do it in such a way that I don't even know it comes from you. And Krishna, he's got this expression like, okay, but he still loves me. But that's what I decided that I want. I don't want to reciprocate love anymore. So I want his energy without him as the energetic person. So in devotional life, we once again understand Isha Vaishidam Sarvam, everything is Krishna's, and he gives us things according to our quota. But in this life, we want more and more things being the underlying word as opposed to a personal love. So when we become with Bhakti Yoga, then we understand that Krishna is a person, and we relate to him as a person, and Krishna explains in 4:11 Bhagavad Gita, as they surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. So when one surrenders in Bhakti Yoga, he thinks all the time about being a loving servant, and he responds in love, and Krishna, he can now reciprocate love with us. So there's this wonderful deity worship where Krishna says, your present eyes are very difficult to see my spiritual form, but I have a form because everything is made from my energy, and like electrician can turn electricity to make hot or make cold, can make an air conditioner and make a heater out of the same electricity. So Krishna can turn matter into spirit and spirit into matter. Everything is spirit for Krishna. Just like for the sun, there's no darkness. So for Krishna, everything is spirit. But for us, we act with Krishna's different energies, either materially or spiritually. Materially, they're called fruitive activities, and spiritually, they're called Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna says our senses have two different functions. One is to see matter, and the other, when they're engaged in Bhakti Yoga, they can see Krishna. They become surcharged. Brahma Samhita says, Prem Anjana, that one gets this, he sees by the eye of devotion. Then he can see young Shama Sundar with inconceivable attributes. And that's, we start to see how Krishna is interacting with us all the time. We see him in his deity form. And specifically, for us, we see the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and chanting his holy name. Krishna directly is unmistakably present in all three of these. And just with a little association, one gets revelation in his heart by Krishna's mercy.
People say that if you religious people are saying that God is good, He is all good and all powerful, or why is it that we, His children, have to undergo hell in this world? We are suffering like anything.
Okay, for anybody who's a parent, they know that there's a term they call tough love. Tough love is when your young child wants to go out to play instead of going to school. They say, I don't want to go to school, I want to play. And you say, no, you have to go to school. And then the little child says, I hate you, I hate you. But no, it's the intelligence has to be developed. And when the child gets a little older, they thank the parents. So in this world, it's, I call it the tough love of God, that one has to understand the purpose. And when he does something wrong, we're so unfortunate that we don't even know what we're doing wrong. We're just so out of it that when we do something wrong, we're so insensitive. Like, for instance, I was supposed to be home for dinner at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I get home at 11 o'clock at night and I didn't call my wife. So she's waiting at the door, and I open the door kind of real quiet and trying to sneak in, and she's at the door and she says, did you think of me? And I said, oh yeah, honey, I always think of you. And her eyebrows go down and she says, you know what I mean. Did you care about what you were doing was going to affect me? Was I a part of your thinking process? So Krishna, he's in everyone's heart, and we don't always think of Krishna. Even if we think of Krishna, we're not sensitive to recognize. We take everything, the light of the sun, the moon, the food that we eat, our very body that we got, everything is a gift from Krishna. And we never even practically think of him or acknowledge him. We think that's just his job. I had my daughter once, if this example should clarify that, she was about 9 years old, and she likes certain edibles and other things she doesn't. So I noticed that my wife, when she went shopping, she got just the things my daughter likes, because she's a finicky eater. She prepared them just like she likes, and she served them out, she offered it, and served them out just as she likes. So I watched this whole thing, and I asked my daughter, I said, do you know how much love went into that preparation for you? And she says, that's her job. And I said, oh, you missed all the love that went in there. So, Nitya Nityanam, Chaitanya Chaitananam. Krishna, he's supplying everybody, everything, all the time. And we think, well, that's just his job. But what sensitivity, how can we feel the love that he puts into every detail of our life is filled with his love? There's, in a Krishna book, Prabhupada explained that pure love of God is intrinsically integrated into all of Krishna's energy. So if someone wants to know, in this world everybody's looking for love, and they're being disappointed, frustrated, hurt, or separated by time. But that love is the love for Krishna that is just misguided in this world. And the example, if I may just give one more example, is I had this experience once that really helped me understand the difference between this life and the transcendental reality where the soul exists. The soul is our eternal nature of service, loving service to Krishna. So I was it was time for me to go to bed, and I was very, very, very tired, and I was also very thirsty. But I was so tired, I figured I'll just go to sleep and I'll get water later. So as soon as I went to sleep, I started dreaming about drinking water. I saw this big 32-ounce liter cup, or half, was condensation on the outside, and I drank this whole ice cold cup of water in my dream, and I said, ah, that's great. Ah, it's so good. I really enjoyed drinking it. But then I said, that's funny. I'm still thirsty. So I drank another one and another one. And I said, this is very unusual. You know how dreams, you can't quite figure out what's going on. And I said, no matter how much I drink, I'm still thirsty. And I don't know why, but, you know, I'm not feeling full or anything. So anyway, I woke up, took a little bit of water, and I was fine and went back to sleep. So that desire that we have, they're coming from the other plane of existence, the plane of the soul and the loving exchange with Krishna in the spiritual with all our real friends. In this world, we're in another temporary condition, and those desires can't be satisfied on this plane any more than drinking water in a dream can satisfy the person in the dream. He has to wake up to drink it. So Jeev Jago, Gora Chandra Bole, Lord Chaitanya, who's Krishna himself, but in his most merciful incarnation, because he's under the mood of the emotions of Radharani, he's saying, well, when Krishna was here, he said, Sarvadhamma, give up, surrender. And it didn't work so well. Not that many people were doing it. That's the male, surrender. But when he's under the mood and emotions of Radharani, he said, just give him love of God. So here's Krishna himself, but he's just giving out this love of God in the chanting of Hare Krishna. So then you'll meet and find this wonderful element called satisfaction, where the whole world now has no more interest. Last example, just for that understanding that you get when you start to experience some spiritual satisfaction, is compared to going to the supermarket. When you go to the supermarket, everybody knows there's two ways you can go: hungry and not hungry. If you go to the supermarket when you're not hungry, you get everything on the list and you leave. When you go when you're hungry, it takes twice to 3 times as long, and you put all this other stuff in the shopping cart. Oh, this looks good. Oh, this looks good. So, so when one is getting the satisfaction, getting the real juice of being, this juice is called rasa. He's getting the real juice of life, this love that he's looking for. Then this whole world, it has nothing left anymore, and the renunciation automatically manifests. Just like when you go to a grocery store and you're full, automatically you just do your business and go. So it's a natural process that it's a Rajavidya Rajaguryam. Even though it's the most secret of all secrets and it's the purest knowledge, it gives direct perception of the self by realization, and it's everlasting and joyfully performed. So one gets this satisfaction. Thank you.
Would you say that a lot of the discontent in the world today and chaos in the world today is due to ignorance of our needs as a spirit soul? Why is it that, because people are pursuing happiness. Whatever they do, they're looking for happiness.
That's an excellent question, and I'd agree with your conclusion also. 100% is due to ignorance. And ignorance means ignoring. So what are we ignoring? We're ignoring the love that is already being given to us, and then we're looking for love someplace else. But our primary love is with God. And it says that if you want to water each leaf of a tree, how difficult that would be, and if it would even work. But if you pour water on the root, all the leaves, by its network, get nourished automatically. So when one serves Krishna, he can serve every living entity, and he feels a satisfaction. Everyone becomes dear to him, and he's dear to everyone else. And that's a very nice feeling. So the problems come from not knowing Krishna and exploiting. What happiness is there for a thief? For instance, Isha Vaishridam Sarvam. Everything is owned and controlled by the Lord. But if you want to take it for yourself, what's it like to be a thief? Every time there's a knock at the door, maybe it's the police. You know, you're always in apprehension. But when you're a law-abiding citizen, if the police come to the door, you say, "Could I help you with anything? What's the difficulty?" But if you're a crook and the police come to the door, you say, "Okay, hide everything, let's run out the back door." There's so much anxiety. So the peace comes from Bhoktaram Jakatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, seeing Krishna as your dearmost friend, as the proprietor of everything. Then one has peace.
Well, what about the doubt? You know, these things are tangible. Contacting my senses with intoxicants, with the opposite sex, this is tangible. But the Krishna thing, that's just like hearing from some people. How people say, "Well, how do I know that is true?"
How do you know anything is true, that pramana? This is a whole nother subject, and there's different ways to approach it. Different people accept different conclusions for knowing what something is true or not. Generally, people aren't specifically interested to know what's true. They just want to know if it works. The real question is they want to be happy, and they're figuring be happy. But as far as how to tell, that requires a little bit of scrutiny, like we were mentioning before, because you need a framework to understand what is true. True has, like the Srimad Bhagavatam, it says param sattva dhimahi. So you start to learn different Sanskrit phrases. So we have to be taught that truth has certain qualities, that it's eternal, it's full of knowledge, and it's full of bliss. Krishna, he is the absolute truth, and this absolute truth is contained, this pure bhakti is contained in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which starts off with even that the great demigods are an illusion by Krishna. And he meditates on it. And the second verse specifically tells that you have to kick out cheating. The first thing is you have to understand some things are cheating. And as we're pointing out, there's the cheaters and the cheated. So you have to recognize if you're cheating. Just like the thief, he's not going to be happy unless he puts things back. So when you engage in devotional service, you use your senses in the service of the master of the senses. You use your property in the service of Krishna. And then you get this peace, and in that peace you start to realize what is truth, because it's revealed. You can't force it. The reason you can't force anything is because it takes away the primary principle of existence, which is love. And love means choice. You always have choice. It's a sanctuary that even Krishna never interferes with your choice. So you're given always choice. In the Bhagavad Gita, the greatest scripture, he mentions right at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, have you heard everything in the Bhagavad Gita? Is your illusion now dispelled? So now you know what the truth is. You're Tatmavit, Tattvadarshan. Now do what you want to do. Either go back into material existence, ignoring pure love, or do everything from now on, perfecting, purifying your heart so you're a able recipient to feel love. One of the points that I like to make for simplicity is like if you touch something hot, you feel hot. If you touch something cold, you feel cold. So if you touch God, if you touch Krishna, what does God feel like?
Well, he's Ananda, he is full of bliss.
He's full of bliss. Sat, he's eternal. You can, if he stopped, everything stopped. Sat Chit, he's full of perfect knowledge. And Ananda, bliss. So if you touch Krishna by the process of bhakti, yoga means keeping in touch. You're touching Krishna, And now you're touching Sat, Chit, Ananda. So what are you going to feel? Sat, Chit, Ananda. So when you're feeling Sat, Chit, Ananda, is that you that you're feeling? Or is it Krishna, God that you're feeling? So it's a tricky question. That's the kind of guy I am. I like these kind of jokes. So I say, you're feeling Satchidananda, that's Krishna. But because you're the one that's feeling it, you're feeling, that's you. And that's also the nature of the soul, Sat Chit Ananda. So how do you realize your Satchidananda? Is by touching Krishna, Sat Chit Ananda. And then you're feeling your Satchidananda. And that touching process is by pure love, Bhakti Mam Apijanati. And then you know Krishna. Krishna is actually very funny. But in this material world, because of ignorance, we turn away and we're just unfortunate. So that the fortune that can happen is Brahmanda Bhumite. We're explaining that the living entity is eternal. He's going up and down through the whole universe, sometimes up to Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, sometimes down to these little teeny germs that are all over the place. But when he comes to the human form of life, he's very fortunate. He can get the mercy of Krishna and the Guru, and he gets the seed of bhakti planted in his heart. And if he takes that seed and he waters it, the watering process is hearing and repeating and remembering from those pure-hearted souls that are in disciplic succession. Specifically, the time right now is in the Brahma-Madhva Sampradaya with Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Prabhupada, giving out this holy name which has never ever been given out the way it is right now. The price has been reduced. I have a friend who said that, like in baseball, they have a fence that if you hit the ball over the fence, you get a home run. But when you have a little league playing, they move the fence way up. So the fence has been moved way up because of Lord Chaitanya, Krishna being in the mood of Radharani, coming as Lord Chaitanya, just giving out this love of God. So just please, chant Hare Krishna, associate with the devotees, take prasadam, read Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and you'll have the answer to that question.
Okay. So Madanmohan Prabhu, I'd like to thank you very much for being on the
Hare
program.
Krishna.
I'm Rajarsi Das saying Hare Krishna, and do join us again next week for another presentation.
Haribol, Jai Hare Krishna.
Hare Radha se Dasa